Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Today, we journey back to the golden sands of West Africa, to a time when one man's wealth, faith, and vision shook the world. His name was Mansa Musa, the legendary emperor of Mali, remembered as the richest ruler in history and a king whose generosity left entire nations astonished. Spanning a wide expanse of over 500,000 square miles, the Mali Empire in the 14th century was a realm that stood at the very crossroads of wealth, culture, and power. Imagine a land so vast that it stretched from the roaring waves of the Atlantic Ocean in the west to the graceful curve of the Niger River in the east. From the harsh sands of the Sahara Desert in the north, where camel caravans marched endlessly under the blazing sun, to the deep, green equatorial forests in the south, buzzing with life, Mali encompassed a landscape both diverse and rich. This empire was not just large, it was blessed with resources that made other nations marvel. Gold, salt, cola nuts, and ivory flowed from its lands in such abundance that Mali was regarded as one of the richest kingdoms on the face of the earth. These treasures were not idle ornaments. They were lifelines of international trade, commodities that traveled across deserts and seas to fuel the economies of North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. But Mali's wealth was not measured only in its glittering gold or ivory tusks. It was also measured in ideas, knowledge, and faith. As a Muslim kingdom, Mali was tightly bound to the wider Islamic world. The desert was not a barrier, it was a bridge. Caravans crossed the Sahara, carrying goods from distant lands, gleaming brass from Spain, delicate brocades from Egypt, precious stones from India, and silks from beyond. In return, they carried back Mali's famed gold and salt. Yet what truly enriched Mali was not only commerce, but the flow of scholars, jurists, books, and wisdom. Pilgrims traveling for Hajj returned with manuscripts copied in the libraries of Baghdad and Cairo. Islamic teachers and administrators were welcomed in the learning centers of Timbuktu, Walata, and Gao, helping Mali flourish as both a religious and intellectual hub. Africans from Mali even fought in Muslim armies far from home, serving in campaigns in Spain, Egypt, and even as far as India. In every sense, Mali was not isolated. It was a vital piece of the global Islamic mosaic, contributing to the prosperity of continents beyond its own. In Arabic, this land was known as Malal, inhabited by the proud Mandinka people who traced their noble ancestry back to Bilal ibn Rabah, the close companion of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the first muezzin of Islam. This lineage bound them with honor and gave them a sacred sense of identity. The most famous of all Mali's rulers was none other than Mansa Musa, the ninth Mansa, or king, of the empire. His name Musa is the Arabic form of Moses, and his title Mansa meant ruler or king in the Mande language. Musa's reign, which began around 1312 and lasted until the mid-1330s, is remembered as the golden age of Mali, when the empire reached its greatest power and influence. Much of what we know about Musa comes from Arabic historians who recorded his exploits, particularly after his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. Writers such as Al-Umari and Ibn Khaldun wrote in awe of his wealth, his devotion, and the sheer scale of his accomplishments. Musa's rise to power was itself the stuff of legend. His predecessor, thought to be Muhammad ibn Q, was obsessed with the mysteries of the Atlantic Ocean. Determined to discover what lay beyond its endless horizon, he launched two massive expeditions. The first fleet numbered around 200 ships. The second, even greater, consisted of nearly 2,000 ships. The Mansa himself led this second voyage, leaving Musa as his deputy to govern in his absence. When the ruler never returned, Musa was crowned king. Under Musa's vision, Mali expanded like never before. He seized control of Walata and Timbuktu in the north, cementing Mali's dominance over desert trade. To the east, he absorbed Gao, a vital city along the Niger. To the west, his authority reached Senegal and Gambia, securing coastal trade and granting Mali access to the vast Atlantic. With this, Mali stood as master of the most important north-south and east-west trade routes of Africa. Its coffers swelled, its influence spread, and its cities flourished with activity. But Musa was not just a conqueror or administrator, he was a man of deep faith. In 1324, he undertook one of the most extraordinary pilgrimages in history, the Hajj to Mecca. Chroniclers describe an entourage that seemed endless, 12,000 men according to Ibn Khaldun, though other accounts raise this number to a staggering 72,000. Imagine a caravan stretching across the horizon, filled with nobles, soldiers, attendants, and slaves, each dressed in the finest fabrics. They carried with them unimaginable wealth, horses adorned in gold and camels laden with gold dust and bars. Mansa Musa's generosity was legendary. In Cairo, Medina, and Mecca, he distributed gold so freely that its value plummeted across North Africa. Prices of basic goods skyrocketed. Economies were shaken for more than a decade. Such was the impact of one man's charity that the markets of entire nations bent beneath the weight of Mali's gold. But Musa did not return home empty-handed. Along the way, he purchased hundreds of rare manuscripts and precious books. He was accompanied by Islamic jurists, scholars, architects, and administrators whom he recruited to serve in Mali. Back home, he poured his wealth into building a legacy of learning and faith. He endowed universities in Timbuktu, Walata, and Gao. He built mosques, promoted Quranic education, and strengthened Mali's ties with North Africa and the Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt. The most iconic of his building projects was the Sankore Madrasa, which grew into the great University of Sankore. This center of knowledge became one of the finest in the Muslim world, drawing jurists, mathematicians, astronomers, and scholars from every corner of Africa and the Middle East. Timbuktu, once a desert town, now blossomed into a vibrant hub of trade, culture, and Islamic scholarship. Mansa Musa also commissioned the construction of the Jingwerebe Mosque in Timbuktu, designed by architects from Andalusia and Cairo. His palaces and monuments transformed the city into a jewel of the Sahel, where markets thrived and books were more valuable than gold itself. Italian scholar Sergio Domian described this period as laying the foundation for a true urban civilization. Mali, at its peak, boasted no fewer than 400 cities, with the Niger Delta teeming with life, commerce, and culture. Merchants from Hausaland, Egypt, and beyond flocked to its markets. Even traders from Venice, Granada, and Genoa heard tales of Mali's wealth, adding Timbuktu to their maps and dreaming of the riches of West Africa. Yet, Musa's reign also saw conflict. In 1330, the Mossi kingdom invaded Timbuktu and captured it. But Musa quickly reclaimed it, fortifying the city with strong ramparts and garrisons to prevent future incursions. The final years of Musa's life remain cloaked in mystery. Some records suggest he died in 1332, others in 1337. Some chroniclers claim he intended to abdicate and spend the rest of his life in Mecca, but passed away before fulfilling this wish. His brother Suleiman succeeded him, and the empire remained formidable for decades more. In Mandé oral tradition, however, Musa's memory is mixed. Some griots accuse him of straying from ancestral customs or squandering Mali's wealth. Yet others honor him through the figure of Fajigi, the father of hope, who journeyed to Mecca to retrieve sacred objects. Through this legend, Musa's image merged Islam with local tradition, making him both a pious ruler and a mythical cultural hero. Modern historians debate the true scale of his wealth. Some estimate he carried as much as 18 tons of gold on his pilgrimage, an amount worth more than $1 billion today. He himself fueled legends by claiming that gold grew in his kingdom as though it were a crop, further enhancing Mali's mystique in the eyes of foreigners. Some Arabic writers reported that Musa's lavish giving caused a sharp decline in the value of gold in Egypt. Al-Umari noted that before his arrival, a mithqal of gold was worth 25 silver dirhams, but afterward it fell to below 22 dirhams and did not recover for 12 years. Some historians describe this as having wrecked Egypt's economy, while others argue it was merely a temporary fluctuation. Despite the empire's immense riches, Musa's journey was not without hardship. According to some accounts, he eventually ran out of money during his pilgrimage and was forced to borrow heavily from Egyptian merchants at steep interest. Whether these debts were ever repaid remains debated among historians. Nevertheless, Mansa Musa endures as one of the most legendary figures in history. His reign represented the height of Mali's golden age, when Africa stood as a center of wealth, knowledge, and influence. His generosity and vision left monuments still standing in Timbuktu, while his name continues to echo as a symbol of unimaginable prosperity and faith. If you liked this video, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with others as well. Thanks for watching.